we will start our fourth chapter, which is Lagrangian and Hamiltonian formulation. Both terms are new for you guys. So before going towards the main content of chapter, first we will discuss why there is need to study this type of formulation. So while solving some types of problems, specific problems in mechanics, we write equation of motion in terms of Cartesian or polar coordinate system. In chapter 2, we discuss central force field problems in which we use polar coordinates r and theta. Before that, we discuss projectile motion in which we use Cartesian coordinates. So according to system, we use the coordinate system which is most preferable. So in classical mechanics, the problems that are complex or which are in presence of various forces of constraints, it is undesirable to depend on coordinate system. So it is difficult to study a system when there are various forces involved in the system. Also, it becomes difficult to obtain solution using Newton's law. So in order to simplify, there is an alternate procedure required in which equation of motion without any reference of coordinate systems are used. Means it will be convenient without reference of any coordinate system, we can study the equation of motions. So this alternative method is nothing but this Lagrangian formulation, and indirectly or sometimes we use Hamiltonian formulation depending on the requirements. Therefore, these two formulations gives us a very general nature and makes use of generalized coordinate and generalized velocities which are independent of coordinate system. So it will get easy for us to solve the equation of motion. Therefore, we take the help of these formulations. So in this chapter, we will discuss various concepts which are related with these types of formulation. Now, since Newton's laws of motion, or it is known as Newtonian mechanics. So Newtonian mechanics will have 3 limitations. So because of these limitations, we prefer the Lagrangian formulation. That's why in your syllabus there is the 4th chapter, that is Lagrangian and Hamiltonian formulation. So this 4th and 5th chapter are very important according to your post-graduation study, that is MSc level. These 2 chapters are very important. So we will discuss first what are limitations of Newtonian mechanics. So the first limitation of Newtonian mechanics or Newton's laws of motion is that these laws of motions are valid only in case of inertial frame of reference, or it is also called as non-accelerated frame of reference. So the doubt comes here, what is inertial frame or non-accelerated frame? So the inertial frame means the frame which are at rest or moving with uniform velocities are known as the inertial frame or non-accelerated frame. Now you maybe have doubt that here there is a word non-accelerated, and also we are saying these frames are moving with uniform velocity. But when velocity is uniform, that is velocity is constant with respect to time, this means acceleration is 0, because if velocity is constant, then derivative of velocity is nothing but acceleration and it will be 0. So this can be nomenclatured as non-accelerated frame. So these laws are valid only for the inertial frame or non-accelerated frame, means frames which are at rest or moving with a constant velocities. So the other frame of reference is non-inertial or accelerated frame. Now it is clear to you from this definition that what will be the meaning of non-inertial or accelerated frame. So non-inertial frame or accelerated frame is the frame which is moving. So frame which is not at rest are known as the accelerated frames, or these non-inertial frames are nothing but the accelerated frames. So for these accelerated frames, the Newton's laws of motion are invalid. For example, if we take the Earth reference, so Earth as a frame of reference, so a frame attached to Earth is non-inertial as Earth is rotating around its own axis. Means the motion of any object with respect to Earth is a motion in non-inertial frame, that is accelerated frame. So in accelerated frame, why the Newton's laws are not valid? Because in case of accelerated frame or non-inertial frame, there comes some pseudo force or non-fundamental forces which are, for example, centrifugal force or Coriolis force. So these forces are acting in the non-inertial frame. So therefore, because of these forces, the Newton's laws are invalid in non-inertial or accelerated frame of reference. So this was the first limitation to Newtonian mechanics. This was first limitation. Now second limitation of Newton's laws of motion or Newtonian mechanics is that this mechanics or Newton's laws of motion are not used to describe the system which has large number of particles. Means whenever there is a system which having large number of particles, and in this case Newton's laws of motion are not followed or these laws are failed. So why this is so? Because even if we know all the information about the interaction between particles, it is very difficult to predict the properties of a system by carrying out the calculation which are involved in the interaction of all particles, since there are large number of particles. So it's difficult to predict individual behavior of each particle when number of particles is increased. And because of this, in this case Newton's laws are failed or are not followed in these types of cases. So here we use the statistical mechanics. In a previous chapter we discussed the concept of differential cross section. So this concept was based on the probability, which is nothing but the part of statistical mechanics. Means whenever there are large number of particles, in this case Newtonian mechanics fails to describe the motion or to study the system. Therefore we take the help of statistical mechanics and then we study the system by statistics or statistically. So in previous chapter itself we discussed why there is the concept of differential cross section. So when number of particle increases, system get complicated and it's become very difficult to predict the individual behavior of each particle. So there classical mechanics fails, that is Newtonian mechanics, and we move towards the statistical mechanics. So this is the second limitation of Newtonian mechanics. And there is one more third limitation. So due to these three limitations, we skip this Newtonian mechanics and we take help of Lagrangian and Hamiltonian formulation. So let's see what is third limitation. So third limitation of Newtonian mechanics is the case in which particle is moving with the velocity of speed of light, means particle is moving with the speed of light, that is c is equals to 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second square. So in this case, when particles are moving with the speed of light, this is the relativistic case. So in this case, so whenever there is a case in which particles are moving with the speed of light, then we move towards the relativistic case, in which that type of study is known as, which is based on the theory of relativity. And this theory of relativity is based on the assumption that they have assumed, in theory of relativity there is an assumption that the speed of light is always constant irrespective of frame of reference, means the frame of reference will not affect on the speed of light. This is the assumption. On this assumption only the theory of relativity is based. So here this is inconsistent with the Newtonian mechanics. So whenever system having the moving particle which are moving with the speed of light, this is known as relativistic case, and these systems are studied on the basis of theory of relativity. So Newton's laws are not valid in the relativity theory or relativistic case. So this type of theory is specially known as theory of relativity. When Newton's laws are valid, it is valid in non-relativistic case, means whenever speed of particle is less than speed of light, then only Newton's laws are valid. Otherwise Newton's laws are not valid. In that case we refer the theory of relativity. So this was the introductory part, and why there is need to study these types of formulation, because of this assumption on Newton's laws of motion. There are some limitations on Newton's laws of motion, because of which we are going to study this type of formulations. So in next session we will discuss the equation of motion, which are known as Lagrange's equation of motion, and it will have great importance in advanced treatment of mechanics. So for this we will need some concept which are related or which are basic concept that you should know to study these types of formulation. So in next lecture we will discuss those concepts which are constraints, degree of freedom, generalized coordinate or configuration space. So all these concepts are new for you. So in next lecture we will discuss on these